2024. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Nymeara. We are done with our second series, and we're going to continue the jet set nature of tonight and into our standings implications of this next series, which is going to be Weibo versus FPX. Now, we are a little bit behind, so we'll be jumping straight into game with a lower third of the picks and bans and see exactly what we have in store for us here for game number one.
And, of course, important series. Weibo, of course, they can get themselves pretty high placement here now as well. I think with a win here, they can secure themselves top 4 because anyone's legend did lose just in the series before this point. This is the pick order. We saw that Leona first pick, and with the Ashe gone, it means that it's much safer to do so. The Cannon coming out as the last pick for Breathe. Good matchup into the K'Sante and also brings some magic damage to the team, which allows them to even that out. And of course, we get ourselves the all-powerful MilkyWay Kindred as well. It's always a treat to watch that one.
The man is not allowed to touch Shyvana. I really wanted to play it last night. Banned away from him again this time around, but he still gets one of his signatures. And this needs to happen for FPX. They need to get MilkyWay feeling himself again. I mean, this guy bursts out on the scene as one of the most lethal junglers we had in spring. And yes, there was a bit of a fall off, obviously, but it's been trying to get back to that form for FPX, and it's been a bit rocky since that week 3 big slog of huge wins.
It has been. FPX have managed to clutch out a lot of games, but it doesn't mean that they've necessarily convinced us. Their series just yesterday was. It was a mess. Now there were some great moments, and I know that I think there were some points in the game which they worked very, very well. ZDZ got some solo kills. I think at the end of that first game they had just the other day it was a mess versus Top Esports, where realistically they should have had an ultimate wombo combo combination which could end that game, but they were so poor using their ultimates that they couldn't do that with the Rumble equalizers. Particularly the Sejuani ults from MilkyWay were very poor as well, and Life also had a poor time on that Leona in that game. So we need to see a step up from the overall team fight execution at FPX. It just wasn't it. It was against Top Esports. It's not always fair to say that, but it wasn't great all the same.
It wasn't. And FPX are going to have a triple marksman comp. They're definitely a double-edged sword in this one, where so much stability. I mean, it's almost like they just drafted Malphite as a champion, but as their whole draft, because there is a very strong sense of self for Weibo's composition in terms of setup around big team fights and objectives and the damage to follow it up.
And it's very reliable engage when you have something like the Maokai. Some teams are not great at using the Maokai still. I think we saw from OMG the other day. They're a team which need faster engage, because Maokai is reliable engage, but it's not fast. It's not like a Sejuani ult throwing it, flying at you, or something like the Solar Flare. Something for a player like Tarzan, though, for a team like Weibo, I do trust them with stuff like that. Maokai Tarzan was incredible on this pick last year on LNG, and he can definitely have some higher value with this one. If you can use that to corral people into Breed's ultimate or into Chris' combo, that of course becomes a very powerful tool as well. MilkyWay, has he looked out on the mark? Has it spawned just yet? It has. It is on the spot side looking for his first mark of the game, but he's been pushed into.
Oh, this is exactly what you want to see from Weibo. Collapse around the star jungler of FPX, and he's going down to none other than Xiaohu. FPX are left wanting, but they do get something back for care. Tarzan falls. Now Light and Crisp have found life, and maybe they even find death there too. Light not able to follow up too much. Oh, he's weaving these shots in. Now Care is going to dodge his way out, but Light falls. Deokdam, he steps up. He's got the barrier set up. And Xiaohu, he dodges out of the Void Seeker. Xiaohu comes up with another kill for Weibo.
It's 4 minutes in, we've got 4 kills. Welcome back to the LPL.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is what we're here for. So, MilkyWay didn't get the mark on the crab, but he got it because he got a kill onto Tarzan, and he goes back to the crab anyway. So, MilkyWay actually ends up getting 2 marks in 4 minutes. That is an absurdly high pace for that one. Why do we even start with this? I mean, you see that Tarzan, he's on that bot side, he's been clearing top to bot, and he does meet him here. Xiaohu does have that lane priority. They do double flash out over to MilkyWay, but then the problem comes in just after this point, where Care still has flash, and the bot lane prio hasn't gone the way of Weibo. So Tarzan's kind of just stuck in here, and he can't really get anything. He also gets caught somehow at the end of that extendo beam as well. I thought he'd walk beyond the particle, but he hadn't quite. Things just go messy after this point, though. Light doesn't get the kill onto Life because he's still enough HP. He could have flashed out as well. And just the huge amounts of follow-up plays were just all mess all the time. It's very long cooldowns in these early games, but they are still short enough for you to get a second one through.
Oh my god, Xiaohu's already got care half. Oh, that's not good. He's on the wrong side of the wall. Gonna have to take the long way around, and
Red
they can
buff.
follow that one up. The fact that he didn't get over the wall is gonna make the difference, and care falls to Xiaohu. Look at him shaking his head. He knows that's rough. 3-0 for the Tiger King of Spring.
Yeah, Xiaohu has had a rough old year. Ever since Worlds last year, Xiaohu has had very mixed performance, well, pretty poor performances. To the point where we were questioning whether he would ever come back as a top-tier player. But I think that into the Rumble stage, and actually at the end of the group stage too, particularly with the advent of stuff like the Lucian mid, which of course the Lucian is something that he's played in both mid lane and top lane over his career to a huge amount. In fact, he was the first player to play that. It was a thing which stabilized his presence in mid lane. And then he's gone back to the Corki and stuff like that now, and he's just looked so much more impactful. Weibo, we know this team has many great players on it. Weibo technically classify as a super team. It's just that we've come to expect so varied things from this team. We can't really like view them in that same lens anymore. They kind of fooled us into thinking that they're not that. They have so many huge players on their roster. Xiaohu now coming away 3-0 against Care, who has struggled himself. That's going to be an important matchup to keep track of.
It's going to be really difficult to manage. I mean, you'll have a lot of the sustained damage for FPX, and that's going to be really nice, but you have to think about what that poke is going to do to such a squishy composition for FPX. Still, though, showing some life here. The early game has been a bit sporadic. I think ZDZ has done a really good job of clearing up some of the CS differential that Breathe was having. Both objectives have been left up and untouched so far because of that early skirmishing. Maybe get a change in that now, as Tarzan's already going down towards botside care, getting traded on heavy by Xiaohu to keep priority.
Yeah, so one thing to note about that Maokai as well from Tarzan, he's not going towards the AP build, he's going towards that Kindle Gem. Breathe will bring the magic damage, so he's going to go towards a bit more of the tankiness, maybe go towards something like that Locket, which we've seen out of him before. We'll keep track of that. Objectives started on the split screen. MilkyWay going to take that those grubs on the top side. Of course, he's got himself 2 marks on that early game of the Kindred, see if he can get himself any more and get himself up to that 4 mark for his first range increase. Fun thing about MilkyWay, so my brother watches a lot of LDL, and he was filling me in on this. So in the breaks when MilkyWay was in the LDL, every single break there was a video of him talking about his Kindred builds. Like, he was that popular and that effective at it. This guy has like made an entire career of it, and of course we've seen it in the LPL now. But he was, even before he made his way up to the LPL, he got a huge amount of like recognition for this pick, and he's got himself a decent early game start. Let's see if he can continue it on.
Did not hit the jump over there. It's fine. It's the little things, you know. It's all about the big moments. No, but we'll see, as he has been, I feel like, the main face of FPX since making his entrance over there. Obviously, was on loan there from Royal Club, or at least RNG. Now, though, he also got denied those Chicky Nuggy spawn of the marks that he was actually trying to maybe lean over towards. So still not going to be at that 3 mark yet, not even close to the 4. I think that's something to kind of keep an eye on, because we talked about the stability that Weibo's composition has, especially entering those team fights, so it's FPX that really needs a lead.
It's not the easiest game for a Kindred. Who's he going to stop the back? He isn't, just about. Alright, doesn't manage to interrupt that. Once the Care will get himself back towards base, still not going to be saving damage onto this tower, and of course a cannon minion dying down there too. So MilkyWay is in fact going to hoover up that wave and say thank you. I'm also an AD carry, I can use that goal. And yeah, you know, FPX, this is a team from Spring, which one of the most exciting teams in the LPL in Spring. So many people were excited to see what this team could do, and sadly in playoffs they got a little bit blasted. They couldn't really show themselves to be that. Well, to an extent, yes, but also when you looked at the teams kind of going into that spring playoffs, FPX still had huge wins over JDG and top esports. The fact that they didn't make it through further into that spring playoffs, I think, while there was definitely room for other teams to overcome, and it's not a surprise to me that they were contested, it was just something which I think a lot of people would have liked to see, given how exciting FPX were. Yeah,
I think it's just the biggest difference that comes and represents in best of 5s and best of 3s. I think it was a team that was taking advantage a lot of some of the different draft styles and stuff, and maybe the lack of adaptation from our teams. But that's also maybe bringing in the conversation to this split, where that adaptation, that kind of crazy forward thinking hasn't necessarily always been there for FPX. They've had a lot of troubles outside of the game to deal with, which maybe throws a little bit of distraction there. But it's not the same FPX that we're seeing clinically clean games up last split.
Yeah, no, they've had some different changes to their roster, of course, where they've had ZDZ as now as their third top laner in the year, because they did bring in the new for one game behind Xiaolahu earlier in the split, and the ZDC's coming to kind of fill in the roster after Xiaolahu stepped back out for personal reasons. Light might just be able to do something in the spot side. Hey, good damage from him. But yeah, FPX, they've really struggled to find their feet in summer with those changes coming through. Now Deokdam being forced to the spot lane turret, that's not going to really help them either. Deokdam and Life, I think they have stepped up from Spring in terms of stability. This duo wasn't that consistent in Spring. In fact, they were often criticized. They might get focused on again here.
Tarzan's here. And you know, if something's going to pay off, it's going to be resources given down to Crisp and Light. They get the knock up on the end, and Crisp picks up the kill. MilkyWay needs to be a bit careful. There's a lot of body blocking, maybe a little bit of roughhousing happening. There's going to be the Lamb's Respite care with the Lightning Crash on the other side. It is going to be Bramble Smash back. Double headbutt pulverized combo, at least from Crisp, and they end up getting care in the end. Light looking for a snipe on the Light. Here comes CDZ. I don't know where we're getting the WWE music, but we need to start playing it now because, oh my God, Xiaohu! Another double kill goes over to this man and go ahead and give him a triple kill!
Xiaohu 6-0 in the early game. This player has been criticized so much over the year, but I really think we should revisit how we're feeling about this player if you haven't already. Xiaohu 6-0, mastering this early game. Typically, he was always the Emperor's Spring, but he has come well alive here in the Rumble stage. Tarzan sticking around. Deokdam, no flash, no barrier. Needs to be careful. Xiaohu, next time he gets that base off, is going to be a very, very rich Yordle. And that's a huge problem for FPX. They're trying to play front to back, potentially, with the Gesante and the Leona going forward. If you're playing into a fed Corki, very few things, even with the nerfs to Corki, it's only to his base HP, he's still doing the same damage, and that's a huge issue. If he gets himself to early items, I don't know if FPX can win that damage race, even with the extra day AD carry.
They're going to take Grubageddon here with no contest so far, at least from Weibo. But man, this guy Xiaohu, the legacy he's had, the RNG story, top to mid, wherever it was, but it really is a continuation of kind of the conversation we were having last series, where it's an era of new stories being told by legacy players across new organizations. So far, so good in this one, at least. FPX putting a lot of pressure over on the Breathe, who does not have the Slicing Maelstrom, but has his team, and maybe all he needs. He is going to get that flash out there. MilkyWay getting low. MilkyWay going down to Tarzan, of course. Here's the Solar Flavor Care has come in. He's going to clean one up on a Tarzan. Meanwhile, Xiaohu has been back at the base, taking a whole turret down there.
Yeah, and even FPX with the 6 grubs can't get themselves that first turret. Xiaohu gets the gold from that. It's an even trade in that top side, 1-for-1. Care is still getting gold here on the Zeri, but still, Xiaohu is going absolutely overdrive here. He's got himself that full Triforce, of course, and he'll be getting himself towards that Muramana very, very quickly. I am so afraid for what happens next time Xiaohu gets himself a good base off and gets himself towards those items. I don't think FPX are ready for that kind of damage, and you can see that, Breathe, he is being focused down here a little bit, but God, Care's not even able to take this full turret that quickly. He's slow on taking this. He might not even take the whole thing. Breathe might just have enough wave clear, and indeed he will do. That's a shame. FPX don't even get themselves the full gold onto Care. Gonna go revisit what happened in this absurd bot side skirmishes. Tarzan has himself that Maokai. If you are pinned against a wall, it is very, very hard to get away from that Maokai ultimate, or the Maokai in general. Life is separated away from Deokdam. There's no way the Leona can help there. Light has got himself a lot of that damage earlier. You know, this is still a decent turnaround for MilkyWay with the Lamb's Respite. It does a decent job of buying time, but the tower shots aren't really there. Crisp has his ultimate as well running through this, and then, of course, Xiaohu turns up too. And you don't have your AD carry. Even though you have the tower, it's not enough. You end up going yourself into an extended 4v3 after this point, and the ZDC teleports in late. It's just everyone funneling in one by one, and they just don't have the extended damage.
The fact that Xiaohu is just coming away with all the gold he could possibly want. And that spaceship is going to have all the amenities you could ever ask for. As the triple kill did come down. Now we go back to live. Dragon is up on the other side of the map. We saw the grub again completed by FPX, but now the Rift Herald is up here. Weibo going to be spotting out Life and MilkyWay as they get collapsed on by Breed. He locks the exit here. He is the entrance, though, and they get a double kill before they can even turn any damage on to Breed.
Yeah, they killed MilkyWay before he even gets his ults off. He doesn't have himself Merc Treads yet. He doesn't have that Tenacity. Tenacity's been removed from the game in spades at this point, and MilkyWay, even on his Kindred, finds himself at 0 and 4. Xiaohu has 7 kills, and that is far too much damage. Xiaohu, he didn't even end up completing the Muramana. He went back and built a BF sword because he wants even more early AD. He wants himself an earlier start towards that Infinity Edge. And if he wants to get himself that that BF sword on that back, you know what? Who am I to argue? He is absolutely shredding people in this game.
I mean, that one phosphorus bomb just did like all of Deokdam's health. Really rough time to be an FPX fan this game, number one. We have seen them have some troubles in some of their series, especially in opening. And now they have been the team that have been able to close out a lot of the recent series, at least in the last couple weeks. Now also, MilkyWay will get another mark there, and he will finally be on 4.
Yeah, he's on 4 marks, gets the range increase. Doesn't make him much tankier. Has the Merc Treads now, that'll help, but I think at this point, I think the damage is already well too out of proportion here from the side of Weibo. I think that, yes, 4 marks is always a good thing to get for Kindred, and those marks give you, on a singular level as well, extra stats for your basic abilities, extra attack speed on your Q, extra percent HP from Wolf's Bite on the W, and then of course the Chomp Execute on E also goes up as well per stack. So it's good stuff. I think the sad thing about in this game though is that just what do you do about the huge amount of burst damage coming through from the likes of Xiaohu? Light is also on an Ezreal, which he's done a hell of a lot of hard carrying before. I don't think the range is going to save MilkyWay. I think he's going to get burst out before he even thinks about stepping up into a lot of these fights. And I don't care how good of a player he is on this champion, the gold is stacked against him.
Can't make much out of nothing. And might have been able to keep his tabs on those marks and things like that, but it's just not nearly in the lead that you'd want. And Xiaohu's burst damage is going to be really hard to mitigate and find a way to use that Lamb's Respite in time. I will say, though, it's going to be all calm on the home front after we have that second dragon taken by Weibo, because they have the tools to say go, and they're actually going to activate it here with the Rift Herald mid.
You do. Is there any response from FPX? Well, they have a Solar Flare, but I think this is going to take down the mid lane turret. They're not going to be able to stop that charge, so sadly for FPX, they've lost their side lane towers, they lose their mid lane outer turret very, very easily. Now Weibo, they are a complete run of the map. It's going to be very easy for them to walk into the enemy jungle and do narco things, which use the pseudo wards of those saplings to give advanced notice, put down extra wards. And what this means is that it's just so much easier to get into positions like this.
You can find as much as... Oh! A little bit of turnaround damage there. Xiaohu is getting low, and he's going to go down. 1,000 smackaroos goes right to Deokdam. Will be a trade in the end. They're back as Xiaohu and ZDZ are gone.
Okay, when I said, oh, into positions like this, I didn't mean die, Xiaohu. You've got flash. You don't need to go melee range at the Kasance. Goes down, 1,000 gold shut down. Breathe is now alone on bot side. There is a teleport from Xiaohu, but he's not up in 20 seconds. Breathe's just alone.
Oh, he's trying to get care. He gets the lockdown there. I don't know if he's going to have done damage, though, as everything's used onto him. MilkyWay will claim the kill, and I do believe that was another mark, too.
I think it is. MilkyWay, Mark 5, Weibo. Yeah, maybe don't throw that much gold over towards them. MilkyWay now finds himself probably getting towards his second item very soon at this point. After that, teleport down to Care, though. It is just a game of overstays and oversteps. Care has flash. He can fluff over one wall. I don't think it's...
Oh my
God!
Goodness, that was disgusting!
Yeah, I don't know. I think Xiaohu's packed some extra powder in with the shot there. Jeez, he's got himself the Muramana now too. It's gonna hit even harder. Very close to his Infinity Edge. This is terrifying. I mean, it's not even like Care hasn't been given a load of gold. He was given a lot of side lane gold, and it's just, what the heck do you do here? Xiaohu is gonna get very close to his third item.
That's
Probably
just
at, what,
crazy.
He's gonna get himself towards his third item at about, I don't know, 20, 21 minutes. That is so absurd.
Really good representation from the mid laner of Weibo, obviously a long-standing member, but so kind of putting Care through his paces here. He's going to be looking at tier 2 of bots. That's going to be even more gold. I mean, that's so much for an outer turret down here. He is able to clean up that 700. There's a play on the other side by FPX, though.
Yeah, there's the objectives as well. The bouncies, the all-out over the wall.
Oh, Tarzan, he's in a little bit of trouble. Has the blast coming to the Bramble Smash combo. There he is, and he's out of there. Crisp is actually looking for a re-engage. Oh, he doesn't hit the head by Cold Pulverize, but the Nature's Grasp might just lock them down enough. True Shot Barrage across 2. Life goes right back in, but they just brought themselves into the Wombo. Breathe is gone, but Light is looking to clean things up. Deokdam now has his own flank. Lamb's Respite's going to buy a lot of time for FPX, but will the health bars matter? Care goes in. They lose a lot, but they get one back. Now look at Light. Oh, what? The blast cone! What a play! And Xiaohu cleans up another another triple, as now he's back looking for more. This could be a pentakill. They can't get the stop MilkyWay and Deokdam. They need to get out of here. There's a hungry, hungry pilot looking for more kills. Deokdam, it's like a horror movie. The barrier comes out. He's dodging out as he makes his way away. Oh, MilkyWay goes down to execution. There's the TP coming in to finish the job. Xiaohu can't chase him down, but Breathe can.
And that is on the 20-minute mark. Weibo, I don't know what the hell they were doing around their red side jungle, but it works out in their favor. Xiaohu went back to base, and he didn't go towards the Infinity Edge, went towards the Bloodthirster, but it's the third item in 20 minutes, all the same. Xiaohu's going to walk back towards this Baron, and that's going to go be burned down very, very quickly. Tarzan will make his way over. FPX, they're trying to rush their way over that. That might stop them, but they do have such a powerful Corki to fight with.
Trying to find all that poke damage in here. It's going to be the name of the game, at least. CDZ is over here with a pretty healthy tank bar, but yeah, I mean, the Baron's already going down. Weibo take so much in one fell swoop. Now almost 6,000 gold, a little bit more than that in the advantage.
Just what a ridiculous series of plays. Just
right?
What the heck happened there? I can't believe, I mean, we 100% need a replay of this. Thank you, we have a replay of this. So, things start fairly normal. All out over the wall, cool. You get Tarzan largely out of the picture. He has his ultimate, but, you know, he's a tank and he's not got that much HP to play around. He pulls out the ultimate. Then Chris bells his combo, and then a load of damage comes through. You manage to get MilkyWay peeling back behind the front line, and he has the Lamb's Respite as well. So he manages to get himself a seriously decent amount of damage, but then Light is flanking. Breathe dies before his ultimate comes through. Things get really weird. Q3 hits. Things get even weirder than this, believe it or not, because yes, Xiaohu's now come back. He has his third item completion, and then Light makes one of the weirdest plays of all time. He goes in for a 4-man blast code, which pumps everyone into melee range of him. He very nearly sets up Xiaohu for an instant pentakill, but I see the angle, but blast coding everyone into melee range of you is maybe not the play.
That's actually incredible. I mean, just
That's
the separation. Oh, goodness gracious. It's turned a little bit wild here as well as it is still now Weibo with the siege. They have so much going for them, and it might be a negative Baron power play right now, but they'll get the resets off. And there was a top lane play by FPX, not going to be pulled off in the end. The defense does come through there for their base.
So, soul point for Weibo, control of the map. The Baron power play is weird as hell. Right now it's going to be down a little bit in gold because FPX managed to, I guess, take away a turret or two turret during that time, that top lane inner, I suppose. So, Weibo, they still have that Baron buff for the next minute, see if they can use that to push up the map and get themselves some vision control. They don't have that teleport and breathe just yet, which is the biggest use of that vision control for actual teleport flanks. On the other side, FPX, of course, they have ZDZ with his own teleport too at some point. Light, very strong. Of course, Xiaohu just waiting to see if he can one-tap someone. He has that rapid fire cannon. Normally, I don't like the rapid fire cannon as much on the core key, something like that Infinity Edge, but when you're this fed, having the extra range on the auto attack, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, I would say so. The siege is here, though. You're actually getting a multi-lane push right now as tier 2 towers are going down everywhere. Weibo.
That's a tank, by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's the items, and this is why Xiaohu, like, he doesn't necessarily need to go towards the Lord Dominus regards to the Infinity Edge just yet. Yes, Kara is staying alone in that bot side. I think the problem is, with the 20 seconds less than this Baron buff, you're getting objective banners and you're getting gold, but you're losing so much in your base. I guess they couldn't defend it anyway. There was no way you could wave clear against that. You really don't want to face up against Xiaohu.
The push in mid right now, though.
You're still probably getting 2 inhibs down.
I mean, look at this siege coming through. I mean, FPX have come out. There's a couple minions left for them to clear up. He will represent with all 5. Weibo pushed off just a little bit, but you're starting to see some of the poke actually come down from FPX onto Light.
I'd say the W upgrade from Deokdam, of course, gives you that extra range to play around. So, not going to be the 2 inhibs. It is the 1. Objective bounties and an inner turret were taken by Kara, so a good amount of damage, rather gold put onto him. They're still far enough behind for the objective bounties to still exist somehow. I guess the soul point and then the gold lead very much helping alongside that too. That's a solar flare put in just as the people trying to escape.
They realize Crisp's name once was part of FPX. They need to take him down. Oh, no, but it's turning around on them. Now Nature's Grass coming down. The Roots going to lock down the Phoenix. And Deokdam, oh, no, he takes it. There's Lightning Crash coming out from Care. I don't think they have enough damage to keep going. MilkyWay is down. Everybody for FPX is down. The Phoenix has been quelled in game number 1. And it's at the fangs of the Tiger King of Spring, Xiaohu, with a legendary performance in this game number 1 and putting FPX down.
This might just be Xiaohu's best game of the entire year. Weibo start to ramp up. They start to put themselves onto the board. We thought they were dead and buried, but they have much more left to show us.
They absolutely do. The Happy Poro signal in the end, and Xiaohu was literally just going after the turrets there. Now they're looking for kills. Life is gone. They had to put some punishing onto the support of FPX, and that will be a 1-0 lead for Weibo in this pivotal series.
Weibo continue to absolutely blow my mind. This team looked completely gone in group stage. This team looked like they might not even make the Ascension group. They were there until
so close to not making it.
They only qualified in their very last series, which they made it through, sure. But this team has now gone on to being a team that scrapes through into the Ascension group and then just completely. It's like, you know, that dog kind of like crawling on his front two legs, that's standing up completely normally and walking off. Xiaohu, I do think this was his best game of the year. Incredible performance from him. Great early skirmishing and great use of his power to then just accelerate the game. Weibo took risky plays, but they knew they had this power to do it, and that closed out the game for them. I'm glad they play with that kind of level of boldness. I'm glad we get to see Xiaohu in this kind of form again. It has been a sad year seeing him perform in the way that he did before this. If he is back to form and he can perform in the most important moments for his team, Weibo might well just be a contender.
I'm just sitting there like, this man had 14 kills in like a 25-minute game. Incredible to take advantage of some of that tempo that Weibo were playing to, and that was a clean one to be able to play off of some of those earlier victories. And I think that's super important for them because, again, their whole mantra has been consistently inconsistent. We don't want that to creep up here to finish out the Rumble stage. Now we're going to send it to a short little break. We'll be back with Game 2 of the series.